I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Once a woman loses all interest, most men do exactly the wrong things to try to win her back. They send too many messages, apologize repeatedly, buy gifts, justify themselves endlessly, and in doing so, they push her even further away. The reality is that this loss of interest isn't always tied to a specific mistake you've made. It often comes down to the energy you give off, the way she perceives your confidence, or simply the dynamic that has developed between the two of you. Welcome to relationship psychology. Here's an idea that might seem controversial. A woman can absolutely come back and desire you again, but only if you master the fundamental principles of attraction. Most men have no idea what those principles are. They believe that piling on proofs of affection, chasing her, or showing how much she matters will magically fix everything. That's not how it works. Attraction isn't built on relentless effort. It's built on presence, self-confidence, and emotional impact. I want you to grasp this right now. Women don't fall back in love because a man begs or pleads. They rediscover that spark when they feel the strength of a stable, charismatic man who fully owns who he is. When you stop trying to control her emotions and start mastering your own energy, that's when everything shifts. That's when she rediscovers parts of you that she had overlooked. Today, I'm going to speak to you as someone who understands exactly what goes through a woman's mind when interest fades and what brings it back. I'll reveal what she truly feels when you change your approach and how you can subtly recreate that attraction without any manipulation. This isn't about empty tricks or games. It's about real psychology, female psychology, and how attraction actually works in everyday life. By the end of this listen, you'll know why she pulled away, what you need to transform within yourself to reverse the dynamic, and how to bring her back naturally. You'll understand that real power doesn't lie in chasing her, but in showing her the man she might regret losing. Start by stopping the chase and focusing on mastering your energy. Men often make the same mistake when a woman loses all interest. They panic, they send endless messages, desperately try to clarify the situation, and over-justify themselves, hoping to remind her why she liked them in the first place. But the truth is that chasing her only confirms in her eyes that your value depends on her attention, and nothing kills attraction faster than emotional neediness. Women sense energy before words. If she detected your confidence wavering or a desperate need for her validation, her interest vanished. It's not punishment. It's simply her instinctive response to your inner state. Attraction is primarily emotional, not logical, and women respond to a man's presence, independence, and solidity. Picture this scene. A man who moderately interested me started sending multiple messages every day after I pulled back. He apologized for trivial things, constantly asked if he'd done something wrong, and kept seeking a response. Every text screamed his need for reassurance. Honestly, it pushed me even further away. His attempts were obvious, but they didn't make me like him more. They just showed me that he depended on me for his emotional balance. In contrast, another man reacted differently when he sensed my distance. He stepped back and refocused on his own life. He didn't call, didn't justify himself, didn't try to convince me to come back. But when our paths crossed again, he was calm, confident, and fully present. He wasn't needy. He had his own world. Suddenly, I was intrigued. I wondered why he seemed so unaffected by my absence. That simple shift in energy reignited attraction without him saying a single persuasive word. The key is to stop pursuing and start controlling your energy. When you regain control of your attention, confidence, and independence, she begins to reassess her feelings. She sees you differently because your vibe no longer begs for her approval. Attraction isn't created through effort. It's created through authentic presence. Let's get this straight right away. When a woman loses all interest, it's almost never because of one single mistake. It's not an isolated argument, an unanswered text, or a lack of romantic gestures. It's the buildup of the overall energy and dynamic you've projected over time. Women pick up on subtle signals that most men don't even realize they're sending. Interest fades when she senses dependency, excessive eagerness, or a lack of self-confidence. If she feels she has to reassure you, or that your happiness hinges on her, her attraction automatically decreases. She starts seeing you less as a challenge and more as someone always available. That destroys desire faster than anything. Another major reason is predictability and the lack of emotional contrast. Women are drawn to men who make them feel something: curiosity, excitement, tension, mystery. If every interaction is the same, or she can predict exactly how you'll react, her brain disengages. Attraction thrives on unpredictability, subtle challenge, and emotional energy. When that's gone, she naturally withdraws. Sometimes, it's not even directly about you. Daily stress, past emotional baggage, or shifting priorities can cause her to pull away. But how you respond to that withdrawal determines whether she'll reconnect or drift further. A man who understands this and adjusts his presence without chasing can reawaken her curiosity. And here's what many men overlook. Even after detaching, a woman often continues to unconsciously assess a man's value. She may seem indifferent, but her subconscious is still evaluating whether you're someone worth regretting. Your actions, confidence, and independence during this phase influence far more than any words could. Here's something most men completely miss. When a woman loses interest, she doesn't erase you from her radar entirely. She simply stops feeling drawn to you until something changes. Women constantly reevaluate attraction, and it's always emotional, not logical. It's about energy, presence, and emotional impact. When a man steps back and stops chasing, she unconsciously begins to re-examine him. She notices how he carries himself, how he interacts with others, and whether he still embodies that confident, grounded man she initially found intriguing. Her intuition picks up these signals before she even consciously realizes she's interested again. That's why emotional energy matters more than words. Women also notice self-sufficiency. When she sees a man thriving without needing her attention, her perception of him shifts. She thinks, he doesn't need me to be okay. Maybe I still want him after all. That shift is crucial. Attraction isn't about proving yourself. It's about demonstrating that you have value on your own. Another key factor is curiosity and emotional contrast. When she pulls back, she starts observing patterns in your behavior. Are you still the same? Or are you calmer, more confident, more unpredictably magnetic? That contrast creates positive tension. That tension makes her rediscover qualities she had ignored and restarts attraction. Timing is essential too. Reattraction doesn't happen overnight. Women process emotions gradually, and desire grows when they consistently sense independence, confidence, and stability. If a man tries to force things too soon with explanations or gestures, he interrupts this natural process and attraction fades. The core message is simple. Her interest can return, but it has to grow organically. You can encourage it through your energy and presence, but you can never force it. You become magnetic by being emotionally solid, independent, and confident, all qualities that draw her back into your orbit without you having to chase. Let's be realistic. If a woman has lost all interest, passively hoping she'll notice you again isn't enough. You need to become a man who naturally commands respect and attention, someone whose presence draws her in effortlessly. This doesn't mean pretending to be someone else, buying her affection, or piling on grand gestures. It means strengthening your inner value and aura in an authentic, undeniable way. First, women are captivated by confidence and stability. Show through your attitude that your world doesn't revolve around her. You have ambitions, passions, and a life that truly fulfills you. When she sees you thriving without seeking her validation, her perception changes. She feels that lost spark again because she's witnessing an independent, emotionally complete man. Second, mystery and a touch of unpredictability matter far more than most men realize. Being too readable, too available, or too transparent reduces attraction. Women are intrigued by men who set boundaries, have depth, and reveal themselves gradually. No need for games, just let her discover you over time. Those small moments of intrigue will subtly captivate her and revive interest without trickery. Third, social proof and how you interact with the world make a huge difference. Women notice how you treat others, the respect you inspire, and the positive influence you have. A man who naturally commands respect without demanding it is infinitely more attractive than one who seeks approval. Another critical point: your presence must be magnetic without ever seeming desperate. Engage with her confidently, without overthinking the lost interest. Show that your life is full and that she can choose to be part of it, not the other way around. This reversal of dynamic makes her reconsider her feelings. Finally, rebuilding your value isn't about trying to win her back with words or actions aimed at her. It's about embodying the man she can no longer ignore because of who you truly are, not what you do for her. When she senses that independence, confidence, purpose, and subtle intrigue, she gravitates toward you naturally. That's how attraction is restored, not by chasing, but by becoming the kind of man who naturally inspires curiosity, desire, and admiration. There's a precise, often subtle moment when a woman who had lost all interest starts seeing you differently again. It isn't loud or obvious at first, but you can feel it in her energy. She doesn't admit it right away. She may not even consciously realize it yet. But something clicks. That happens when she again senses independence, confidence, and a captivating presence in a man she had previously overlooked. I've experienced this myself several times. There was a guy I had stopped feeling interest in. I didn't dislike him. I was just indifferent. He stopped the obsessive texting, quit apologizing for every little thing, and dropped the constant attention. Instead, he invested in his work, friendships, and personal life. The next time I saw him, he was relaxed, self-assured, and engaged without being needy. Suddenly, my curiosity was piqued. I noticed the subtle changes in his demeanor and felt a new attraction. That's when it all started again. This moment occurs because women detect energy shifts before visible behavior changes. When a man stops chasing, he unconsciously communicates value, self-respect, and confidence. That triggers the part of the brain that evaluates attraction. She thinks to herself, wait, something's different about him. Why do I suddenly want to be close to him? That's how interest gently reawakens. Emotional contrast also plays a role. She compares the old version, the one who chased and seemed dependent, to this new calm, independent one. That difference creates attention, intrigue, and curiosity. Her mind naturally catches up with her feelings. The key is not to rush anything. No flood of messages to prove you've changed. No explanations about why she should want you again. Simply maintain your presence, confidence, and calm energy. Let her discover it organically. When she starts moving closer, let attraction grow without forcing it. That's the beauty of reattraction. It's subtle, deeply emotional, and powerful. It isn't driven by words, gestures, or gifts. It's created by your energy, presence, and independence. Once she feels that, she'll come back on her own, curious and drawn to the man she had underestimated. If you want to reattract her, absolutely avoid certain behaviors that destroy attraction irreversibly, no matter what else you do right. Many men sabotage themselves without realizing it, thinking persistence alone will fix things. It won't. First fatal mistake: over-communication. Constant texts, calls, or messages signal insecurity and emotional neediness. When she feels your well-being depends on her, attraction drops automatically. She doesn't want that responsibility. Your true value shows when you're calm and independent. Second mistake: apologizing for everything. Apologizing when you've genuinely messed up is fine, but many apologize for nothing. Delayed replies, perceived lack of romance. It tilts the power dynamic in her favor and makes you seem emotionally dependent. That erodes attraction faster than any argument. Third mistake: over-justifying or over-explaining. Trying to verbally convince her why she should be interested again is exhausting and unattractive. Women don't respond to arguments. They respond to presence, energy, and the sense of self-sufficiency. Too much explaining just reminds her of past neediness and makes attraction harder to rebuild. Another serious error: neglecting your own life. Some men pause everything, friends, hobbies, goals, to focus solely on her. That's the exact opposite of what works. A woman is drawn to a man with purpose, direction, and independence. When she sees you thriving without her, curiosity and attraction grow naturally. If you truly want her back, you have to transform more than just surface actions. Most men fail to grasp this. Reattracting a woman isn't about changing what you do. It's about changing who you are deep down. Many think kinder texts, romantic gestures, or more attention will solve everything. Attraction doesn't work that way. Women sense energy, confidence, and self-respect long before visible efforts. Let's be honest, if she detached, part of the reason was likely an energy that felt dependent or insecure. Maybe you were too available, too eager to please, or too reactive. You can't fake temporary change. Women instantly detect inauthenticity, and it can push her further away. Real change starts in your mindset and inner confidence. Value yourself first, recognize your own worth, and detach your emotional well-being from her attention. This doesn't make you cold or distant. It makes you magnetic. A woman immediately distinguishes an emotionally dependent man from one who's independent, yet still present and genuinely engaged. You need to become the man she might regret losing. Live a full life with passions, relationships, and goals that don't revolve around her. Demonstrate, without trying to prove, that your happiness is complete on its own. When she senses that, attraction rebuilds naturally. She notices subtle changes in your demeanor, social energy, and how others respond to you. This takes patience. Women's emotions don't shift overnight. They need space to absorb changes. trying to speed it up by chasing or explaining ruins everything. The truth is, if you really want her, work on becoming a captivating, confident, independent man, not just someone who tries harder. Finally, honestly examine your old patterns. Where were you too needy? Where did you give away too much power? Where did your energy signal insecurity? Face it, adjust it, and commit to embodying the version of yourself that naturally commands attention and respect. That's how her desire will be reignited through genuine transformation, not temporary effort. Here's a brutal truth many men need to hear. Women don't fall back in love with a man who tries too hard. They fall back for a confident, independent, magnetic man, one who doesn't need their attention to feel whole. If you want to reignite her interest, your energy, presence, and mindset matter far more than your words or actions. Reattraction isn't about chasing, justifying, or proving yourself. It's about becoming a man she might regret losing. It's about showing, not telling, that you have your own life, value, and emotional stability. When you invest in your growth, confidence, and purpose, she'll notice. Her curiosity will return, followed closely by attraction. Remember, this isn't manipulation, it's understanding real female psychology. Women are drawn to men who inspire curiosity, admiration, and desire without demanding it. Your challenge is to reflect on past behaviors, transform your energy, and show up as a man worth rediscovering. That's when interest and desire reignite organically, powerfully, and authentically. I want to hear your experiences. Have you ever tried to rekindle a woman's interest? Did it work, or did you struggle? Share it all in the comments. I'll read and engage with you. This isn't just theory. It's about real-world understanding and true personal growth. Step into your confidence, honor your value, and watch how her perception changes when you truly become the man she can no longer ignore.